Craft beer makers go to extraordinary lengths to brew up the perfect pint. And lately, that attention to detail has shifted onto what is on the outside as well. In a recent USA Today poll, readers named Heady Topper the winner for the best beer label. Kenneth Craig visited with beer makers, including that label's creator, who are putting a lot of effort into the art of ale. Kenneth, good morning.
Good morning to you, Dana. We really did get a rare inside look at the process of creating this art, which for many breweries has become just as important as how that beer tastes.
When it comes to the art of beer, there are few on the same playing field as Heady Topper. For years, the can has been one of the most sought after in the world. The double IPA inside among the highest rated, and its cover art for craft beer fans among the most recognizable.
We really started looking at the shelves, the beer coolers, and what made them all similar and how could we stand out. And we thought if we can make a label that's really authentic and is a reflection of us and our style, that's what we wanted to do.
And did people react right away when they saw the art on the can?
Oh, absolutely. People
we reacted right away when we saw it.
Jen and John Kimmich are the founders of the Alchemist Brewery in Vermont and say that label was a collaboration with artist and musician Dan Blakesley.
Sun walking so tall, I can receive eye to eye.
Whose concert posters captured John's attention at a Vermont coffee shop.
What he said to me was he liked the whimsical nature of it.
He was hired to do the art for the brewery and then the label for Heady Topper.
And then the second one, the one we actually used, he was like, okay, side profile of a guy with a beard, the hops exploding out of his head everywhere. This is one of the original sketches for Heady Topper.
Blakesley grew a beard and used a picture of himself as inspiration, turning the vision into reality without ever tasting the beer.
You have never had a sip of one of these beers.
Well, I've had 3 sips of beer in my life, and I didn't like any of them. I just didn't like the feeling.
The number of craft breweries nationwide has more than tripled in the past 10 years. And now, brewers are not only in a race to make the best tasting beers, they're also competing for your eye.
And it's a sea of color and a sea of beautiful artwork. I think the consumer, too, really wants a whole experience. They want more than just a great beer. They do want a beautiful can.
So this one is called Tropical Crumble.
Designing those cans has become a full-time job for Megan Penman.
It's been crazy.
Who has created more than 300 labels for Other Half Brewing in Brooklyn, New York, which releases upwards of 4 new cans every week.
It's wild to see it out there in the world and see people with it. This is so many people's dream job.
With the can as her canvas, her throwback images are an explosion of color.
We liked the idea of this can art feeling kind of 90s, like
This
90s.
reminds me of a shirt I'd wear when I was a kid or
Yes,
something.
exactly, like 90s jam shorts, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like that kind of vibe.
There are entire social media accounts dedicated to the craft of craft beer labels. More than 150,000 followers track Other Half and its art on the brewery's Instagram account, and the most die-hard fans will line the street to get their hands on its latest creation.
Right now we're canning up a batch of hop showers.
Sam Richardson is one of Other Half's founders and its brewmaster.
We have a language across all of our cans. I think they all look different, but I think that you can see the connections. You can look at it and say that's an Other Half label.
Do you think you would have the type of popularity and cult following that you do if you didn't have this kind of art?
I don't think so.
What do you think it does take to stand out right now?
Quality. Quality. You see it. You walk into a shop and you see all that artwork. It's not art. You might buy a can of something because of the art once. But if that beer is terrible, the art doesn't matter what the art is. If you're not going to come back because the beer is not good. You want the beers flying this way, right? So
the team at The Alchemist has continued their work with Dan Blakesley on other cans since the release of their famed beer, and are currently redesigning the label for an IPA named Rapture. They say their art and beer have always gone hand in hand.
The coolest thing about being a part of the craft beer revolution right now is the high level of competitiveness, because everyone is really being forced to set themselves apart. We make the best beer we can. We have the best artists we can work with, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. At the end of the day, it's beer.
You know, the artist we spoke to told me as an artist, the dream really is to have people see their work. So for them, the fact that thousands and thousands of people now know their art from these cans really is more than they could ask for. And we couldn't go to these amazing breweries, of course, and not bring back some.
Oh,
yeah.
Fantastic.
We love looking at their work. We also love drinking.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good point. I've picked wine before by the label. I would pick beer by the label, but they're right. I wouldn't go back to it if what was inside
If you don't like it, you're not going to drink it
So
again.
this is the Heady Topper. What does Michelle have?
Yeah. So she's got one from the other half, and you've got one from the other half as well. This is one of their new releases. And I've got another. I've got Focal Banger, and this is also from the Alchemist.
Yeah, they're so
Focal Banger.
So there are sketches, and then there are these really cool
Well, here we go.
I mean, because I would pick this label, but would I have it back?
Cheers.
Hey.
Cheers. Cheers.
The labels and liquids. Yeah.